And I'm like, you didn't spend all this money on this guy and he never was interested in you. Now, don't get me wrong, I do pay for dates and stuff, but after a while.
Tony, what do you think about that? I'm more of like a non-confrontational type of person, and I just like hated it, and it forced me to grow.
My baby is my greatest blessing, but she's also the biggest change I've ever experienced in my life.
Old lady cleaning the bathroom, and we're just like, oh, you got a maid, you know, like, you're not my roommate. She was my roommate.
I do need for him to, you know, be able to control his emotions and control himself and not just want to pop off.
I need to know that you got me. If something goes down, I don't need you pushing me towards the danger.
I don't know if it was like a big lizard or a little iguana.
It's got me.
Real?
It ate me. We're done because I'm passed out.
Yeah. So many females that do that, and it's like the guy is not really interested in you, they're just interested in your money. And as soon as you stop, or as soon as the person that they want to be with come along, he leaves. And I'm like, you didn't spend all this money on this guy and he never was interested in you. Now, don't get me wrong, I do pay for dates and stuff, but after a while.
Tony, what do you think about that? Like a woman buying a guy coffee or dinner in the beginning.
Out or whatever.
Yeah, I think we're in a new age now. I think it's kind of wide open. I mean, you know, whether you take the traditional approach and say, well, I'm just gonna wait and the guy pays first. I mean, there are plenty of, I've heard plenty of stories of, you know, the young lady saying, hey, let's go to coffee, let's do this, let's go to brunch. And take it from there, because again, it really depends on the situation. I mean, a lot of, you know, going to you know, what is it? Not Chesterfields, but you know, pick any restaurant. Any restaurant at these days, especially we talking earlier about, you know, a lot of women are in position financially like that, $50, $30, $45, $60, or what have you, or a $6, $7 cup of coffee at Starbucks, it's not a big thing nowadays. So it really depends on, you know, the person. But I don't, it depends.
And I would say, you know what? I don't really know, like a coffee maybe, but I don't really, I think that if you went somewhere for real and you had asked him first, even if you say, I'll pay, I feel like the man for you specifically would say, you know what, thank you, I appreciate the offer, but I got it. Don't worry about it. Right. And then you know that's your guy. If not, then you know that probably you'll never need to see him again.
Right, because I know guys do that, because I have been in a relationship, and even this guy that I was dating, well, they always pay. Even if I offered, they'd be like, no. So right. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, guy. I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm just saying. I've heard guys who have said stories like, "Hey, I didn't. You know, she invited me to coffee, and you know, it went from there. And that may have been her first and last time ever having to pay. You know, it took. I mean, but because sometimes, again, you know, every guy is different. Every guy is not built the same way. They don't follow the same rules. You know. We're not a monolith, so we're not gonna always react to or not react to the same thing. So sometimes, like I said, you know, Shanita earlier, you may have to break that pattern. You may have to stretch a little bit, which may be uncomfortable, but to get what you want to get, you may find out it's really just a matter of he may have, you know, men, we sometimes we're afraid of rejection. So if we step out there, you know, it may be more comfortable for him to be around, you know, have platonic friends. That's a safe zone for us, because what we don't want to do, especially if we're interested, is mess it up. So, you know, it's just something to consider, but, you know, to each his own.
So y'all think I should give him another chance, or at least?
No.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
Here's why I say that, because it sounds like from everything I've heard. So it sounds like from what I've heard, it sounds like you kind of going 10 steps forward into the future with this guy in a narrative that he's still on step one or maybe step zero.
Zero,
And
probably.
so you're saying, you mentioned something earlier. Takar picked up on something, but you also said something like, why he playing these kids games? That sounds like a relationship talking point, when it ain't going right. So it's like in your head, you're already, you're already in a relationship with this guy, and you're playing out things that people in relationships that have problems that's the way they talk.
That's true.
So yeah.
You
the guy.
and Christina didn't talk about marriage when y'all first started dating. So, and I know it's kind of hard now because I feel like you're dating and dating now is two totally different things. But so would you say that it still is safe you shouldn't discuss that?
No, I think you mean what, your expectations for marriage? Is that what you're saying?
Just like when I meet a guy, like I do tend to ask that question fast because I want to know. I don't want to waste my time if marriage is not, in the near future for you. If you just feel like you just going with it, whatever happens, I'm not in that mindset anymore because to me, I'm like, I want to get married sooner than later.
Right. Well, I think one of the things is, and this is a lesson. This is a lesson I had to learn because there's a point in that single journey where there are those moments of desperation, like you ready to get, you've been doing the right things, you've been waiting, you've been patient, and you ready to get this thing going. You ready to be in a relationship that goes towards marriage, and you feel like, hey, clock is ticking. So that happens, but sometimes you just gotta. You have to have a different approach with it. It depends on the conversation. For some men, that may be the exit door. You start bringing up marriage in the first couple conversations, and he's not talking about that. Think about this. When you've observed this person that you're going back to the guy that you work with, did anything come off to you about him? Was there any signals without conversation that suggest that he was even considering marriage? Have you ever heard him have conversation like anything? Was there any signals that he gave that equated to he's thinking about marriage in some way? And if there's not, you gotta think about that too. So,
I mean, it'd just be me and being judgy. I would say no, but it's just the way he was dressed. He was dressed like an old guy, like an old man. So to carry your face. So I was just like, oh yeah, he probably, if he's single, he probably want to get married. Like you just not dressing like a young person that's just out in these streets. So I think that's probably why.
Yeah, you gotta keep in mind. I mean, there are 80-year-old men who ain't trying to get married.
Right.
I mean, that straight up, they're not.
Do you think that even the man who doesn't necessarily like you kind of already knew that marriage was something that was the end goal, right? But do you think that there are men that also exist where it may not necessarily be their goal right now, like the next person I meet, it's for the purpose of marriage, whereas if they meet somebody who is like, dang, this really works, like she's got me thinking about things that I didn't think about before, and this is probably my wife, after they meet you, not going into it like,
yeah,
I'm gonna get married.
Yeah, there's plenty of guys like that where no expectations,
right?
No, I'm going in full steam. I'm just gonna go for the experience. I'm going for the ride. Whatever happens, happens. And sometimes that's the best approach because that pressure is gone. When you take the pressure away, now you can be yourself because most often you're gonna bring a representative. You're gonna bring the best. You're gonna bring the person that shows up in the tux or the person that shows up in the wedding gown to the first date, and that's not authentic. You know, remember that's the benefit. That's one of the. That's kind of like the season finale. Of, you know what I'm saying, of your best show, which is life. So I mean, you gotta. Sometimes that's the best approach, and I think most men go into it like that. Now, like I said, you know, a lot of guys, they kind of already know from day one. You know, they kind of know, okay, well, she seems to be someone that could be a friend. You know, we kind of categorize. We may not speak it and we may not articulate it, but we've already categorized everyone that we see into whatever life bucket that they are. Now, how it turns out, whether it's, you know, just a friend, more, a long distance, a long relationship, a marriage, nothing at all, one night stand, I mean, whatever it is, rest assured that that guy has already placed you or categorized you in terms of what he thinks. But he can still also go into that first conversation or that first journey with you to say, hey, I'm still open. Here's what I'm kind of forecasting, like the weather. I think it's going to rain. There's like a 50% chance it may rain, but it may be a pretty day.
Yeah.
No rain at all, but I'm still going to go enjoy the day.
Well, before we go, I just have to ask. I've been wanting to ask since we've been on, but I was trying to wait to the right moment. What is with the cow picture? What's the story?
I've been looking at it too since the beginning.
So the cow is one of my Christina. That's one of her favorite pictures. I think she may have purchased it from Kirkland's or something. But I've always used this. So whenever I'm doing Zoom and stuff, like, you know, it's just a common kind of picture for me. But she likes the whole farmhouse theme. So
I do too.
Everything is in the house is farmhouse theme all the way around. This is just a centerpiece for one of her favorite pictures. But she loves cows. You know, she's a country girl, so, you know, and, you know, it ain't like we ain't from the country too.
Right.
Country. And I'm gonna get in trouble for that, but she is. I like the picture too.
Yeah. I was just like, that's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have one last question to end the show, unless the car has something. What is some advice that you would give married people that you don't hear a lot? Like, you know, or something that caught you off guard, or just something to help married people out that's not common?
I think for me, I think one of the things for me going into it is that you have to. It's the unexpected, and you have to have a lot of, you know, you got to have a lot of patience. You got to have a lot of leverage and grit to get through the unexpected. It's when life happens. I think for us, you know, through 16 years, some of the things we've experienced, like the both of us have lost a parent. When she lost her father first, and for me, it was what I didn't understand the whole time. You know, when we were together, you know, I met both of them, you know, her father and mom, and everybody. It wasn't like an in-law thing. It always felt like real authentic, good people. But I know when he passed, for me as her husband, it felt like an extra weight had come down of responsibility to say, you better make sure you do this right. Like, you in it now. Like, there ain't no turning back. You make sure you do this right. You take care of my daughter. Like, it hit me, I think it harder than I even put on for her, because that's all I was thinking about. And I think that's one of the things when you get into it, you got to know you're in it for life. This is a partnership. This is your love. This is your ace one. This is everything. So it's not going to be perfect. I love the Hallmark movies and all those great things, but remember, to make those special movies like that, those are clips of all the perfect shots that they got at the right time, at the right moment that took months to get there. It didn't happen real time. You know, it wasn't, you know, so you gotta know that how do you respond and how do you gather up when life happens? And then if you can get through those things, you're gonna enjoy all the great moments, the travel, the house. When we first built this house and we got pictures of when there was nothing out here. We were the first ones on the block. I still remember Shanita being on the couch sleeping, you know, in the small home, you know, back home. And then being able to build something with someone, you know, that's major because, you know, that was both something that we enjoyed. So enjoy those moments. Don't take them for granted because when those life moments happen, you're going to need all those things and joys and memories to get you through. And if you can get through those things, then that toilet paper argument is nothing. So that, I mean, that's the biggest thing I would say. Just know that unexpected things will happen. Everyone has a plan. I think even Mike Tyson said, everybody has a plan until you get hit in the face, you know, to some degree he said that. But just know when unexpected things happen, that doesn't mean that that's the end, that's the ball game. Oh, I knew it wasn't gonna work. Last thing I'll say is this. Even if you've gone through, you know, previous relationships and it didn't work out, and you think about all the bad things that may have happened that led to the breakup, just make sure that you don't carry that into when you do find that person and that special one. Don't carry that into, don't have your mind boggling over, okay, I need to look out for this, I need to look out for that, I need to make sure, you know, he or she on the cell phone, I need to make sure, you know, is he cheating, is he having an affair, you know, who's he talking to? That stuff will ravage your mind all day, all night. If you're gonna really lock in and get married, or find that connection, or you know, whatever you do with that special person for those moments in that season, try to do it with as much peace and joy that you can muster because they need that from you too. I learned, and lastly, I'll say, it's not their responsibility, your spouse or anyone, to make you whole or to heal you fully. You have to do the work and they have to support you. But it's not their responsibility to get you there. One of the worst things you can do is put it on them, put the weight on them to make you feel better, put the weight on them to give you the joy and the peace that you can't find. Sometimes that means walking away, taking a walk, getting your own space for a minute, going shopping, whatever you need to do. Get a good book, go to church, whatever, you know, belief systems are, whatever you have to do, try to do everything to do the work for you so that you can be the best for not only yourself, but for your loved one.
You dropped all the gems at the end, didn't you? So you've been giving little nuggets here and there, and it's like, you know what? Let me just drop the bag. Here you go. But you know, like, because when you first start talking about Hallmark, I was like, oh. So I was already prepared for what I normally hear, which is, you know, everything is not Hallmark. You know, that's just fake. But when you was talking, it made me realize, like, I guess I never thought about that. You still have to go through so many sleepless nights rehearsing, so many different takes just to get that movie. So it still kind of resembles life or real relationship because you're going to have many ups and downs. You're going to have fallouts where y'all not agreeing or whatever just to get those happy moments. So it still takes work to even get that. Yeah.
And when you get, and even when you reach, here's another little small tip. I promise you I'm going to shut up. But when you are, I think one time, you know, people talking about, well, how do you define happiness and how do you get there? To me, I'm realizing that it's the journey. You know, it's not a destination for me because even there are milestones that you will achieve that will fill you up with happiness. And then once all those cups that your milestones are filled up, then guess what? Now you start making new cups of happiness. You know, you don't just say, "Oh, I'm happy now. That means I'm done and complete." Well, what about the rest of your life? You know, when that cups get lower again, you're gonna have to find ways to fill it up. Or it may be time when you need to pour into someone else because they may not be. So that's the other thing. Just know that happiness, you can define it, but even when you reach that milestone, there's other milestones ahead. And it's not just one, you don't stand in one space of happiness. It's a continuum.
Mm. And even using the cups, like, man, like you just made me think. See, I told y'all we was too much alike. But like even with the cups, like even you fill them all up, if you stay in that place and you just get complacent, then water depreciates over time. So what you have all built towards, if you're not continuing to working or continue filling it up, then it's gonna fade away.
Right.
And then that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why you have to just keep, you keep filling, you keep pouring, you keep filling, you keep pouring. You find someone to help, you keep working. There's always new milestones out there, and you're gonna need them. And like I said, you're gonna need them because it's not the stuff you already know that's gonna happen. You're gonna go to the barbecues, the family reunions. You're gonna go to other people's weddings. All the birthday. You're gonna go to all those things. But it's the unexpected things, both good and bad. There are a lot of great unexpected great things that come from it as well. That's another thing I want men to understand too, because I come raised through the church, but it always talked about man finding a wife, finding the good thing. But the thing that I was always missing from that verse, it said, and obtaining favor. And I think that we have to understand as men that it's not just finding a wife and and getting married and putting a ring on it. All that stuff is great, but if we do right by our wives, our spouses, if we do the right thing, we help her flourish and listen and do what we can to appreciate and affirm her and support her. There's favor that comes behind that stuff that we don't even deserve sometimes, that will fall into our laps just for doing the right thing. So that's the one last gem I leave for for the guys out there, that there's favor that comes behind just treating your wife the way she should be treated.
I've learned a lot, and it's been a joy talking to you and learning from you. So thank you.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Thank y'all for having me. I mean, I really am a big fan of the show. I enjoy, because it gives me and Christina a time. We have conversations from watching the show. And I really do learn a lot, because it's things like I didn't think of it. But that was the one thing from the beginning. I was like, man, we got to step up now. Fellas, we got to do better. All of us, me included, we all have to, do better and listen to women and hear it from their perspective. Whether they're, women that are married, women that are single, it doesn't matter. There's so much to learn out there, and we can get better from it. We'll be better men for it.
Yep. Well, we enjoyed you, and thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We really enjoyed it. And thank you all for watching. That's going to wrap up the show for today. So if you have any questions or comments about today's show, feel free to leave comments below and we'll respond to it. Who knows? We may even have Tony back if y'all ask us to, and if he's free or whatever. So just let us know what you think. You can always look us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of the social medias at The Melanated Opinion. You can email us at themelanatedopinion@gmail.com. And that's going to be it. And thank you so much for watching.